Game 2 ready to go here from Gudekunst Field as Indiana Wesleyan took game number 1 by a final of 10-1 in 6 innings. And all the same, virtually the same order that we saw in game number 1, minus one position change and a flip-flop of 2 batters. It'll begin to be Lauren Buckley, the left-handed left fielder, leading things off, and she'll face off against the freshman right-hander Lauren Kanai. Lauren, 5'8", from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Her best friend, ironically enough, plays for Indiana Wesleyan. Lauren is starting her 8th game of her college career, the 14th game she's appeared in the circle on. The off-speed pitch missing away from the lefty Buckley to make it 1-1. Lauren has a 7-3 overall record, a 3.96 ERA. She leads the team in strikeouts with 29. She has walked 19 batters and opponents batting .250 off of her this season. Off-speed will drop in just low. Kanai upset. The ball couldn't find its way to the strike zone, and it makes it 2-1 to the left fielder Lauren Buckley. She went 1 for 3 in game number 1 with a run batted in. With the win, Indiana Wesleyan now 31-5 overall, 12-3 in the Crossroads League. As Kanai comes inside to the lefty Buckley, she fouls it away to our left to make it 2-2. Buckley started the day batting .320. Single runs in the first and second innings for Indiana Wesleyan there in our first contest, and they exploded for a whole bunch of crooked numbers to end the game early. 2-2 from Kanai. Off-speed swing and a miss. Buckley chased that one as she tried to slap her way on, and there's one gone here at the top of the first on a nice off-speed pitch there from the freshman Lauren Kanai. So that brings up the center fielder, Kira Madel. Went 3 for 4 with 2 runs scored in game number 1. Kanai will keep this one low, bouncing in the dirt for a ball. The defense behind Lauren Kanai here in game 2 looks like this. Olivia Hostetler is in left. Courtney Moriarty shading well to her right, our left. She's in center. And Hannah Castor with the sunglasses down and an Oxford gray sweatshirt on. She is in right. The 1-0. Ground ball right back, goes off of Kanai. Wilson will field, fire, and not in time. It even pulled Kozad off the bag. A lot of speedsters here up and down the order for Indiana Wesleyan, and Madel one of them. And an infield single as that one careened off the lower body of the pitcher Kanai right back up the middle. Taylor Wilson at third, Cassie Kuzin at short, Kara Tucker at second, Erin Kozad at first, and Abby Smith will do the catching here in game number 2. As Alex Springer steps in for the first time today. Kanai comes high and inside to the powerful lefty for a called strike. Springer was started off cool in game number 1. They got it going with a pair of singles to go 2 for 4. Drove in a run and scored once as well. 0-1. Foul ground left side. Wilson hustling after it, but it just lands over her head. Up that left field foul line for strike number 2. Exposito, the lefty first baseman, will follow. 1 out and a runner at first. Top of the first inning. Kanai struck out Buckley to start this inning off. Springer shows the bat forward. Runner goes. Smith with a good throw. Kuzin with a good tag. And that's out number 2 as Smith guns down yet another runner here this season. Second runner thrown out trying to steal second today as Madel thrown out trying to steal second. Now 2 gone in the count 1-2 to Springer, the DP here in game numero 2. Ground ball right side, backhand snag by Tucker and a float over to first. And what a way to come back after getting run ruled in game number 1. Smith bullets one down to second. They get Madel out there, then Springer will ground out over there to second base to end things at the top of the first. Taylor bats for the first time here in game 2 when we come back. This is Taylor Softball here on the Trojan Sports Network. So a good start in the field for Taylor here in game 2. We'll see if they can translate that here to the bats in the bottom of the first. First one bulleted in there from the right-hander Mackenzie Ridge, taken by Kuzin for a strike. Ridge, a 5'6" freshman from Bloomington, Indiana. Most wins for the Wildcat staff this year, going 13-2. A 2.00 ERA. Almost 109 innings tossed this season. She struck out 96 and walked 39. Opponents batting .221 off of her this year. Off speed. The 1-1 drops in to make it 1-2 to Cassie Kuzin. Kuzin, Tucker, Moriarty, the first 3 up for TU here in the bottom half of the first inning. That rise ball got way out of the hands of Ridge and sails high 2-2. That will be something we'll need to keep our eyes on here with the sun creeping out from behind the clouds as it sets to our left. Temperatures will get down close to freezing here before the end of our game concludes tonight. 2-2 to Kuzin. She leads off the bottom of the first. She'll ground ball a high hopper to Hannah Eiler at third. She'll whip one sidearm across the diamond to Exposito for out number 1. The defense behind Ridge today, we met Eiler at third. We've met Exposito over at first. Kelsey Koistra is at second. And Rebecca Schrad is there over at short. Same outfield that we had in game number 1 for Indiana Wesleyan. Lauren Buckley in left. Kira Madel is in center, and Victoria Boyer is in right. Aubrey Eckerd moves from third to catch, to behind the plate. She'll catch here in game 2. Eiler, who played first to end game number 1, gets the start here at third in game 2. Kara Tucker broke up the combined no-hit bid there in game number 1. She'll bat here with nobody on and 1 out. She'll rip this one right past Rebecca Schrad. Mom recording that on her cell phone to our left. And so after struggling her first couple times to the plate in game number 1, Tucker with back-to-back hits spanning games 1 and 2. And Kara's been doing better the last couple of games. That's why she's risen up here in the batting order for the Trojans. She was down there in the 8th spot for the majority of the season. Batting out of the 2 spot in that doubleheader sweep of Bethel. And has come through with a pair of hits out of the 2 spot here today in game 1, and now with a base runner here in game 2. First one to Courtney Moriarty, taken for a strike. High and away from Ridge to even the count at 1-1. Courtney had the second of the 2 Trojan hits there in game number 1. Both came in the bottom of the 6th. As Courtney went 1 for 2 with a walk in the first contest. Down the middle, she'll just get a piece of that one as that was near her knees. And it bounces away for a foul ball to make it 1-2. Ridge with a whip of 1.18, which is walks plus hits divided by innings pitched. Fourth pitch outside the zone to make it 2-2. If you want numbers, baseball and softball are the sports for you. You can pretty much find a stat for just about anything you want in this type of game. Moriarty will fire it down to second. Sliding safe as Tucker as Exposito tried to turn 2. A one-hop ground ball that actually bounced first in foul ground, then came back into fair territory, where Exposito received it, stepped on first to retire Moriarty, and they tried to get Tucker out, but she slides in safely. So a runner in scoring position for the against the hard-throwing Ridge for the Trojans, and Hannah Castor steps up for the first time. Castor 0 for 2 with a walk in game 1. Inside screwball, she'll fight it off on the handle of the bat and foul it away to the right to make it 1-1. She was one of a couple of Trojans that went right over to the batting cage to our left after game number 1 and started getting some extra swings in, trying to avoid the sweep here, the season sweep against Indiana Wesleyan. Backdoor curveball comes right back across the inside half to the righty Castor. Excellent pitch thrown there by Mackenzie Ridge, and she goes ahead 1-2. 2 outs, bottom of the first, no score. Kara Tucker stands at second for TU. Back to the outside half. That'll freeze Castor for strike number 3 as Ridge will leave leave Tucker out there at second. Scoreless through 1. We head to the top of the second after this. This is Taylor Softball on the Trojan Sports Network. Top half of the second, no score. Kristen Exposito, the first baseman for Indiana Wesleyan, will lead it off. 4, 5, and 6. She'll be followed by Boyer and Koistra. First pitch popped up, foul ground. Smith pop up, and that's an out. As Exposito tried to go after the first one she got, Kanai came in and handcuffed her on the inside part of the bat, and the lefty Exposito fouls out to the catcher Smith for out number 1.
Number 3, Victoria Boyer.
So I'll bring up the right fielder Victoria Boyer, who was 2 for 4 in game 1 with a pair of runs scored. A hit aside here as we start play top of the second. Ground ball, couple hopper left side. Kuznets short across to Kozad for out number 2. Kuznater struggles there in game number 1 with a couple bouncing ground balls her way, but cleanly fields that one here. And there are quickly 2 outs here in the second. Taylor trying to avoid the season sweep to their cross-county rivals. After being swept in a couple close games in a doubleheader in Indiana Wesleyan a few weeks ago, then losing 10-1 here in the first game today. First pitch off speed down the middle, taken by Koistra for a strike. As she looks to slap or bunt her way on base here. Nobody on, 2 outs. Kozad creeping in there from first, knowing the lefty Koistra, an excellent slap hitter and bunter. Second pitch misses, makes it 1-1. Third pitch. Little check swing down left side. There's Kuznets short across to first. Not in time as Koistra, the speedster, motors her way down to first and just beats the throw by a step. Now she'll run over to second as Kanai had her back turned and Koistra advances over to second base. Taylor head coach Brad Bowser comes out of the dugout. And they're going to send Koistra. Nope, she's going to discard her elbow pad. Kanai had the ball in the circles, but her heels might have just been outside the circle. So Koistra, after the infield single, darts over to second. There's quickly a runner in scoring position here. Crafty move there by the senior. Now Taylor head coach Brad Bowser comes back to talk things over with our home plate umpire, Kaylee Young. She was our field umpire in game number 1. Keith Poinier is the one in the field here in game number 2. And now Young and Poinier will have a conversation. And Taylor head coach Brad Bowser will now talk things over with Poinier. Koistra was going the whole way. I mean, her foot barely hit first base, and then she put the other one in the dirt and then just started going right down to second. As a dance party has broken out in the Iowa dugout to our right. They are going bananas, just like they're saying. They're not lying. And now they've slowed down. And so Young and Poinier, our umpiring crew, again will meet just outside of third. And now the 2 head coaches, Steve Babinski in his 7th season, and Brad Bowser in his 8th. Talk. And now Kaylee Young, the home plate umpire, will come over and explain things to both Brad Bowser and Taylor pitching coach King Lumpkin. I guess they're saying that she never really stopped at second base, and that's why they allowed her to, or sorry, allowed at first base. I'm just trying to read the hand motions and try to read lips there from home plate umpire Kaylee Young. No heated discussion, just very calm, and everybody has the explanation they requested. So the 6'1" Hannah Eiler, the sophomore from Avon, will bat with a runner in scoring position and 2 outs. No score. And Koistra with wheels for days. He'll take a big lead off of first. No at-bats for Eiler there in game number 1. She came in just there in the bottom of the 6th to play first base. Second one, swings and misses at a fastball. 1-2, or 1-1, excuse me. Eiler batting .367. Starting her 22nd game of the year, playing in her 33rd. 8 doubles and 12, or excuse me, that's Exposito's line. A double and 2 home runs, I should say, for Eiler. Kanai comes inside with a changeup, just missing, and makes it 2-1. The 2-1. Ground ball right back up the middle. Koistra with her good speed will be waved around from third. Moriarty comes through. It'll be a close play at the plate, but the ball will land just a step in front of Koistra, sliding in at home. And another 2-out single, just like Iwu did plenty of in game number 1. Eiler comes through here with a 2-out knock to center. And that makes it 1-0 Indiana Wesleyan here with 2 outs in the top of the second.
Now batting number 33, Aubrey Eckert.
Moriarty with that good arm in center, just a little bit short trying to get the play at the plate. 2 outs for the catcher, Abby Eckert. Low and away for a called strike. Eckert was 0 for 2 in game number 1. One of the rare Indiana Wesleyan bats with an average below 300 on the year. Came in at just 286. Second offering from Kanai, high and away, off speed to make it 1-1. Third one, off speed and high, 2-1. Eckert, a freshman from Huntington, Indiana, just north of here by about 45 minutes. Runner at first, 2 outs. The pitch from Kanai. They get her to pop up. That one catches the top of the netting, and we'll sail out of here on a tip. 2-2 the count to Aubrey Eckert. With 2 outs on the board and 1 run already home here for Indiana Wesleyan. Kanai with 1 strikeout already this afternoon. And that one high and away. The count now full to Eckert. Eiler with her 2-out RBI single. The 6'1" sophomore stands over there at first. Here's Eckert, the catcher, waiting on the payoff pitch from Kanai. Swing and a miss. Second strikeout of the day for Lauren Kanai, and that limits the damage to just 1 here in the top half of the second. Another 2-out RBI hit for Indiana Wesleyan today. They had a handful of those in game number 1. They scored their first run here on 1 here in game number 2. We head to the bottom of the second with Taylor down 1-0. This is Taylor Softball here on the Trojan Sports Network. Bottom of the second, Taylor down by 1. They'll send up Carter, Kanai, and Taylor Wilson. Looking to the crowd, we see the commissioner of the Crossroads League, Larry DeSimpler, joining us here this afternoon. Always good to see the commissioner here in Upland, Indiana. His daughter Abby, got a couple workout in today with the volleyball team as Carter will go opposite way. A leadoff single here for the Trojans. They try to tie the game up at 1 just like they did in the bottom of the first in the first contest. So a leadoff single for Carter. We'll see if Kanai can help out her own cause here. Lauren was 0 for 2 in the first contest. First one from Mackenzie Ridge, bunts. That one goes between the legs of Eckert and foul, the catcher. Bunt again. Kanai will chop it down. Fielded by Ridge over at first. Fires one to Koister, who covers. And the sacrifice will move Carter over to second base. And they'll bring up Taylor Wilson, the third baseman.
Batting number 27, Taylor Wilson.
Taylor trying to get out of this rut she's been in. And that will be a diving snag there by Eiler over at third. As Wilson had that one on the inside part of the bat. Beautiful play there by the 6'1 Eiler. You don't see a lot of 6-foot-plus players in softball, but Eiler, some good athleticism over there at third. And there are quickly 2 outs for Aaron Kozad with Carter still standing at second. That one gets out of the glove of Eckert, but not far enough to allow Carter to advance to third. That's a ball to Kozad. Taylor down by 1 as they bat here bottom of the second. And the screwball misses low to Kozad for ball number 2. Aaron was 0 for 2 in game number 1 with a pair of strikeouts. Batting out of the number 8 spot after batting in the top half of the order for most of the season. This one will go between the legs of Carter and roll into center field. They'll wave Carter around from second. The throw from Maidal not in time as Carter legs that one out from second base, and Kozad rips one through the left side of the infield to tie the game at 1 here with 2 outs in the bottom of the second, and the Trojans get their first 2-out run-producing hit of the day.
Now batting number 22, Olivia Hostetler.
Also not bad moves there from Carter at second. As she leapt into the air, the ball went between her feet, rolls into center field. And the third hit of the day for the Trojans matches the hits and runs put up by Iwu here today. A ball to Hostetler, the lefty, with a late swing. That'll roll foul. Ball game even at 1. With Hostetler batting out of the number 9 spot. She was 0 for 2 just like Kozad in game number 1 with 2 strikeouts. High hopper left side coming in, Schrad from short fires one across, and they just get Hostetler out by a step and a half. But an RBI single from Aaron Kozad with 2 outs ties our game at 1 through 2 innings of play. This is Taylor Softball here on the Trojans Sports Network. Nine, 1-2 coming up here for Indiana Wesleyan in the top of the third as they saw their opponents, the Taylor Trojans, even the game at 1 in the bottom of the second. It'll be Rebecca Schrad, the shortstop, to lead it off, then back to the top of the order in Lauren Buckley and Kira Maidal. Schrad shows bunt the first time up, pulls it back for a ball. Second one, floating it in, there's Kanai for strike number 1. Schrad was 0 for 3 in game number 1, came in batting .315. Has that red hoodie sticking out of the back of her charcoal gray pullover with her white number 6 on the back. Third pitch, bunt again, right back up the first baseline. Kozad pounces over to Tucker at first, and they keep the toe on the bag, does Kara Tucker. And there's one out here in the top of the third as Kozad pounced on that ball like a puma in the jungle. And there's one gone at the top of the third for Indiana Wesleyan. Back to the top, and Lauren Buckley, the left fielder. Trying to slap her way on. And Kanai will find the zone for a strike. Buckley struck out swinging her first time up. That led our game off in the top half of the first inning. Kanai taking her time between pitches. Change up low and away, bounces in for ball number 1. Buckley, a 5'5" junior out of Colorado. Came into the day batting .320 with 4 doubles and 3 triples. The 1-1. Back across, lifted into the air. Wilson tracking it, but will check up as she watches it sail and land on top of her own dugout. Buckley, the lefty. Outside half, that one just missed by about an inch or so. Makes it 2-2. The lefty Buckley against the righty throwing Kanai. The 2-2. Ground ball right side. Tucker's there, bounce right into the glove, fading away, then picking it out of the dirt's Kozad. Defensive plays all over the field from both teams here in game number 2. And there are 2 outs here in the top of the third for Indiana Wesleyan. Kara Tucker sure does cover a lot of ground for someone not that tall. Standing just 5'3", but she really plays her position exceptionally. 2 outs, no one on for Kira Madel, the center fielder. Change up in front of that one and pulls it foul up the first base line. She singled her first time up, then got gunned down by Abby Smith behind the plate. A strike with 2 outs and nobody on. Game even at 1 apiece, top of the third. Outside half, beautifully thrown by Kanai, makes it 0-2. Kanai has retired 3 batters in a row, looking to make it number 4 here and get her first 1-2-3 inning of the afternoon. The 0-2. That one high. Madel laying off of that one the whole way. A ball and 2 strikes. Madel was good in game number 1, went 3 for 4 with 2 runs scored, but also got caught stealing in game number 1 as well. She came into the day perfect on stolen bases. She's 0 for 2 today against Taylor. It's Carter in game 1. It's Smith here in game 2. 1-2 inside. Madel thought about it, but she watched it float in too high, and the count evens up at 2-2. As Kanai's gone to the off-speed pitch the last couple of times here with Madel, the lefty center fielder. Speeds it up between pitches here, 2-2. This one sent towards Moriarty, and center will go over her head and land at the bottom of the fence. Madel sets her sights on second, then hits the brakes and retreats back over to first. And a good respect there for the gun that's attached to Courtney Moriarty's right arm. But a 2-out single. Second hit of the day for Madel. And the 4th one for Indiana Wesleyan will keep the top of the third rolling here. 2 outs and 1 on for the DP, Alex Springer, who grounded out to Tucker her first time up today. Springer crowding that plate. The lefty DP from Fort Wayne, Indiana. And the first one misses low for a ball. Springer has had a stellar career at Indiana Wesleyan. He's been a part of a team that's made the national tournament each of her previous 3 seasons, advancing farther each year. He'll go down as one of the best batters in the history of the Iowa softball program. 1-0. She got to send that one back to Indiana Wesleyan's campus. She swung so hard. Just got a piece of it and sent it back to the protective netting to make it 1-1. Dueling drummers over there in the Indiana Wesleyan dugout. The 1-1. Low and away. Smothered up by Smith. That will hold Madel over at second. I have a hunch she's not going to be as adventurous to try and steal since Smith threw her out her first time up. On one when initially looked like Madel probably should have been safe, but it was a better throw from Smith. 2-1 to Springer. Inside, the curveball makes it 2-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. runner standing at first. Game tied at 1. Taylor trying to avoid the season sweep from their cross-county rivals. Springer turns to the waist, facing, and now pulls the bat back behind her head. 2-2. Inside on the hands, freezes her for strike number 3 as Kanai finds the uppermost part of the zone and gets her third strikeout here of the afternoon. That keeps our game tied at 1 as we head to the bottom of the third. This is Taylor Softball here on the Trojans Sports Network. Bottom of the third, game tied at 1. And Cassie Kuzin goes down 0-2. Top of the order up, Kuzin, Tucker, and Moriarty up here for TU as they try to break our scoreless tie and deny a season sweep for the cross-county foes. Late swing on the 0-2. Fouled away from Kuzin to make it still 0-2. Kuzin 0 for 2 in game number 1 with a walk. She scored Taylor's only run in that 10-1 setback in our first game today. The 0-2 off speed will float away to make it 1-2. Kuzin came in as the hottest batter in the Crossroads League before running that 0-2 stopgap in game 1. That one high, rise ball slips out of Ridge's hand. The second time we've seen her go to the rise ball and have it slip out of the fingertips. And the count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bottom of the third, game deadlocked at 1. And Kuzin will lift this one into right. Looks like she got too much underneath of it as Boyer made the catch up the right field foul line, and there's one gone for TU. Now I'll bring up Kara Tucker, who's had a nice day both at the plate in games 1 and 2, and also in the field here this afternoon as well. And Ridge will fire a fastball low for a ball. Kara 1 for 1 today. She singled her first time up. Ridge quickly working. Second one, a fastball up on the hands to make it 2-0. As the sun peeks out from behind the clouds here today as it sets to our left. 2 balls, no strikes. Let's make it 3 balls and no strikes. To Kara Tucker. Game tied at 1 as Taylor bats here in the bottom of the third, trying to avoid the season sweep to Indiana Wesleyan, the 12th ranked team in the land. Here's a 3-0. That one off the plate. And a 4-pitch walk will put Tucker on base for the second time today. That's the first free pass allowed by Ridge here this afternoon.
Now batting number 5, Courtney Moriarty.
1 on, 1 out for the center fielder, Courtney Moriarty. High and away. That's 5 straight balls thrown by Ridge. She got Moriarty to think about it, and that's the most important thing for Ridge at this point. Second one. And that one, the bottom falls out of it and drops right into the zone for strike one. One out, Tucker at first, Moriarty at the plate. 1-1, she'll try to go opposite way with it, pops it up. And the second baseman, Koistra, there for the catch. And the Trojans have 2 outs here in the bottom of the third with the go-ahead run still over at first. Puts Moriarty at 0 for 2 here on the afternoon. And that brings up Hannah Castor.
Now batting number 14, Hannah Castor.
And the fastball high and away. Ball 1. So our home plate umpire, Kaylee Young, tapping to her right wrist before that first pitch from Ridge. Not sure what she was trying to signal. Foul tipping it back to the netting is Castor to make it 1-1. Her father looking on to her right also is her hitting coach during the offseason. A ball and a strike. And that one floating high and well out of the zone. 2-1. Castor trying to get going here as the temperatures will warm up. It's going to be 60 tomorrow. It's going to be 70 on Thursday when Spring Arbor's here on Thursday. My gosh. There's a rip right to the second baseman, Koistra. She was able to snag that one as it went just to her left for out number 3. So the Trojans strand 1. We've played 3 here from Goodekoons Field in game number 2 of our doubleheader today. It's number 12 Indiana Wesleyan 1. It's Taylor 1. This is Taylor Softball here on the Trojan Sports Network. Four, 5, and 6. Plenty of pop coming up here for Indiana Wesleyan as they try to break the 1-1 tie here at the top of the 4th. It'll be the slugging first baseman Kristen Exposito, this week's Crossroads League Player of the Week, followed by Victoria Boyer and Kelsey Koistra. First pitch of ball, second one almost hits Exposito in the elbow, zips away from that elbow and makes it 2-0. Before, in between each half inning, Kanai in the infield all huddle up inside the circle after Smith throws it down to second. They all shared a laugh about something before breaking that huddle up. 2 balls, no strikes to Exposito. This one back across the plate. Exposito goes after it and will pull it foul up the first base line. She one of the rare softball players you'll see these days wearing the batting helmet with no mask. I forget what Division I school at NCAA it was a couple weeks. I think it might have been LSU. It was somebody with blue and yellow. A pitch got away and actually got wedged right in between the bill of the hat and the front and one of the wires in the mask. 3-1 now to Exposito, but you can imagine what type of damage that would do to a person's face if that ball gets loose and gets what's going to go. It hits you right between the eyes almost without that mask. 3-1 to Exposito, and she will launch this one to right. Castor going back, and she will stand right at the fence. She'll come in, and it will lose it in the sun as that one bounces at the bottom of the fence. Exposito in there with a double as the wind for most of the day had been blowing out towards right field. And when Exposito hit it, that was a towering shot out towards right. Castor got all the way to the fence and thought it might have been getting out of there, and then at the last one, the ball came in and stayed in the park as Castor taps her chest and says that one was on her. Shannon Arndt will come in and pinch run for Exposito over there at second after the double to lead this top of the fourth out. fourth off, and the game's still tied at 1. So number 10, excuse me, not tan, that's a color. 10 is a number, and that is the one that Shannon Arntz is wearing over there at second. If you're new to watching a game involving the Iowa softball team, they are not opposed to changes, and many of them, particularly on the bases, as the lefty Victoria Boyer will take the first one for a strike. Arndt playing in her 16th game of the year, has scored 7 runs. She's a freshman from Bremen, Indiana. As Taylor pitching coach King Lumpkin in his 4th season will make his way out to the circle to talk things over with Kanai and Smith. Steve Babinski in his 7th year leading the Indiana Wesleyan softball team talks things over with Arndt and Victoria Boyer on the third base line. Now the Indiana Wesleyan dugout doing their best Rockettes impersonation with the leg kicks over there in the dugout to our right. It's a good kick on those leg kicks for this tight of an area there over there in the dugout. I'd say there's about 10 or 11 of them auditioning for the Rockettes over to our right. A strike to Victoria Boyer. We thought about slapping her way on. Moriarty playing about 15 paces to her left, our right there in center field. Kanai comes right back on the outside half and puts the lefty Boyer down 0-2. Boyer grounded out to Kuzin, her first time up. And the screwball from Kanai misses high and away to make it 1-2. A ball and 2 strikes to the lefty Victoria Boyer. She'll chase this one low. Wilson after it, and that will just land just on the other side of the chain link fence. Still 1-2. A leadoff double for Kristen Exposito that looked to be destined to get out of the park, but then stays in, and she was safe at second. Shannon Arndt running for her now. Nobody out. Top of the 4th, game even at 1, and that's a strike 3 to Boyer. She flails at one on the outside part of the plate. 4th strikeout of the afternoon for Lauren Kanai. And there's one out here in the top of the 4th for 12th ranked Indiana Wesleyan. So dangerous Kelsey Koistra. Ball across the middle of the plate, but low. Koistra singled and then darted over to second after the infield single, then scored a batter later with Hannah Eiler, who's on deck. That's the only run of the day for Indiana Wesleyan as our game even in a run apiece. Second one from Kanai. Down the middle, this one towards Moriarty in center. She'll catch it with ease. They'll try to double her up at second, and they do, as Arndt went darting away from second. It went right to Moriarty in center, and then she doubles up the runner at second base. To keep the game tied at 1, the Trojans will try to take their first lead of the day here in the bottom of the 4th. This is Taylor Softball here on the Trojans Sports Network. New first baseman in for Indiana Wesleyan. We'll introduce you to her as Davis Carter will take the first one off the left half, or right half of the plate, excuse me, for a strike. It's number 37, Paige Creasy, over there at first base right now after Exposito was pinch ran for in the top half of this inning. We're in the bottom of the fourth, and a double play to end it after that pinch runner was going on the sound of the bat and not looking to where the ball was. Moriarty doubled her up 8-4 on that double play put out to second. Ends the threat after a leadoff double for Exposito. Davis Carter, Lauren Kanai, Taylor Wilson coming up for Taylor in a game even at 1 in the bottom of the fourth. 2-1 to Carter. And that one below the knees, 3-1. 3 hits on the afternoon for the Trojans. They were no hit until the bottom of the 6th in game number 1 when they roped out 2. 5th one from Ridge to Carter. Down the middle, Carter will go opposite way. That'll loop in for her second hit of the afternoon as Carter 2 for 2 on the day after going 0 for 3 in game number 1, and the go-ahead run leads things off here in the bottom of the fourth. And Lindsey Cornell will come into pinch run for Carter over there at first base. Can I put down a sacrifice bunt her first time up? Then Lauren was 0 for 2 in the first contest. She's been good in the circle. We'll see what she can do here at the plate with the go-ahead run and the speedy Cornell over at first. First one, ground ball right side, right to the second baseman, Koisha. They get the lead out over there, back over to first, and it'll be a 4-6-3 double play. And now there are 2 outs here for the Trojans in the bottom of the fourth and Taylor Wilson. So leadoff single for Carter, all for naught. We'll see if Wilson can get a 2-out rally going like we've seen Indiana Wesleyan do a handful of times here throughout the day. Wilson, first pitch swinging, ground ball over to Eiler at third. She fumbles with it, still whips it over from her pocket. And the inning that started off so well will end with nothing on the board. We've played 4 here from Indiana West from Gudekunst Field. And the game is still tied at 1. This is Taylor Softball here on the Trojan Sports Network. We've played 4 here from Gudekunst Field here in Upland, Indiana on the campus of Taylor University. Number 12, Indiana Wesleyan going for the season sweep of their cross-county rivals. Taylor, they're tied right now at 1 run apiece. Bottom third of the order coming up here for the Wildcats. Eiler, Eckert, and Schrad. Eiler with an RBI single, her only time up today, driving in the only run for her squad. Second pitch, back across the plate to even the count at a ball and a strike. First time Eiler's been to the plate in the doubleheader. She only came into play first base towards the bottom of the 6th in game number 1, getting her a chance to take some swings here in game 2. Off speed, check swing, dribbler up the middle. Fielded by Kanai, just left of the circle. She'll whip this one over, and Kozad uses all that length to stretch out and snag that one over at first for out number 1. One out, no one on for the catcher, Aubrey Eckert. As a couple of potential Trojan pinch hitters will get some warm-up cuts in the cage to our left. And the first one just a little bit low to the catcher, Aubrey Eckert. She was the starting third baseman in game number 1. She struck out swinging her only time up here so far today. Backdoor curveball, beautifully thrown by Kanai to even the count at 1-1. Five hits for the Wildcats, 4 for the Trojans, each with 1 run to show for it, both coming back in the second inning. 1-1 to the gap in right center field. Castor hustling after that will just land just out of her reach. Moriarty will run over it on the warning track. They will keep Eckert standing up at second base, the second double of the afternoon here in game 2 for Indiana Wesleyan. Puts a runner back in scoring position here with 1 out. Second time today we've seen a ball just get away from Hannah Castor. The first one got lost in the setting, sun to our left. This one just a little bit out of her reach as she went running towards the right center field gap. And it looks like Eckert will be pinch ran for over at second. So it'll be number 8, Taylor Kohlberg, who we saw pinch run in game number 1. She'll come in here to replace Eckert at second base. Now you remember an inning ago that Indiana Wesleyan was in the same position. They had a runner at second. That was after a leadoff double. And then the pinch runner ran on contact, and they got doubled up to end the inning. Kohlberg, big lead off the pitch. There at second and goes back. A ball to Rebecca Schrad, the shortstop, who's 0 for 1 today after a bunt attempt was denied by Kanai. Second one from the freshman, off speed, and that one lifted up and foul. Schrad was 0 for 3 in game number 1. That's Kohlberg, the pinch runner, stands at second. She's the go-ahead run in the top of the 5th. Off speed, knocked down by Wilson at third. Looks the runner back across the first. Kozad will tag her out, but can't get the ball out of her glove in time. Kohlberg will dart over to third even after Wilson looked her back. But there are 2 outs for the Wildcats as they turn it back over to the top of the order in Lauren Buckley. That thing was smoked to Wilson at third, and she did a good job of staying down and fielding it cleanly. So now we'll see if Kanai can get out of another jam here. First one to Buckley, floats in for a strike. Buckley went 1 for 3 with an RBI in game 1. She's 0 for 2 here so far today. Second one off speed, outside half, and Kanai goes ahead 0-2. Kanai with 4 strikeouts already today. She's 1 strike away from getting number 5 and keeping this game deadlocked at 1. The 0-2. Buckley thought about it, but it will sail low and away from the lefty left fielder to make it 1-2. The go-ahead run is Kohlberg, pinch running over there at third base. 2 outs, top of the 5th, game deadlocked at 1. The 1-2 from Kanai. Inside, they get a pop-up to left. Hosteller coming in. Kuz in there, but Hosteller will make the catch. And another good defensive stand there by those wearing dark gray. The game remains tied at 1 as we head to the bottom of the 5th. This is Taylor Softball here on the Trojans Sports Network. 8, 9, and 1 coming up for Taylor here in the bottom of the 5th as they try to break this 1-all tie and avoid a season sweep by their cross-county rivals, Indiana Wesleyan. Kozad will leave it off. And the backdoor breaking ball comes on the inside corner for a called strike. Kozad, Hostetler, and Kuzin, the ones due up for TU, and Aaron with the only RBI of the day for the Trojans so far. Came back in the second, but the off-speed from Ridge puts Kozad down 0-2. Third pitch. Inside at the hands. Kozad initially thought about it, but the rise ball wasn't good enough for Kozad, so it remains 1-2. Ridge delivers. Off speed and away, makes it 2-2. This will be the 50th pitch thrown by Ridge here this afternoon. And Kozad will pop it up the left field line, and that'll sail out of the complex. 4 hits on the afternoon here in Game 2 for TU. They were no hit for the majority of that first contest. Another 2-2 from Ridge to Kozad. She'll straighten this one out, but not straight enough to be in foul territory. And the count remains even at 2-2. As Exposito, you can hear her getting some warm-up swings on the batting tee in the cage to our right. Creasy playing first for her right now. And the 2-2 rise ball away from Kozad to make the count full. Payoff pitch from Ridge. High and away, and it's a walk to the leadoff batter here in the inning. The Trojans, for the second inning in a row, and the third time today, have the leadoff batter on. So Kozad with good speed over there at first, and now the shift coming in here for Indiana Wesleyan. They bring Victoria Boyer all the way in from right field. They have 5 infielders right now, anticipating Hostetler will bunt so they can try to turn 2. It'll be interesting to see if they let Hostetler swing away here and try to rope that one to right field where there is literally not a soul. She'll bunt into the air, left side foul ground, and caught by Eiler as Hostetler got 2 for underneath that one. So now the question will be, do they keep Boyer in the shift? No, they'll move her back over to her traditional right field position. So 1 out and back to the top of the order we go in Cassie Kuzin. Game still tied at 1, bottom of the 5th. And that first one high and away for a ball. An interesting shift there. I liked it from Babinski. You bring 5 infielders in there. You just tell Boyer just to stand right there at second base so you can try to turn 2. Second one to Kuzin. This one on the inside half, just above the knees, to make the count even at a ball and a strike. Kozad, the go-ahead run over there at first. Kuzin 0 for 2 on the day. Backdoor curveball zips back in on the inside half, makes it 1-2. We haven't seen Ridge. First time we've seen Ridge go to this backdoor curveball in the last few innings. The 1-2. That one away. Eckert tried to bring it back across the plate, but it was too far off. 2-2. Kozad with the leadoff walk. She's the go-ahead run over at first. Game tied at 1 here in the bottom of the 5th. 1 out. Kozad goes, strikeout, no one covering second. It goes off of Kozad's helmet, rolls into center field and rolls all the way to the fence. They'll wave Kozad around. The throw from center field won't even be anywhere close, and Kozad will score the go-ahead run to put Taylor up 2-1. She steals second base. The ball goes careening off of her helmet and rolls almost all the way to the center field fence. And the Trojans take their first lead of the day. It's 2-1 TU with 2 outs for Kara Tucker. And the first one to Tucker taken for a ball. So it'll go down as 1 stolen base for Kozad And then that ball just ricochets off the helmet, rolls between a couple outfielders, and rolls all the way to the fence. Second one to Tucker. Outside half to the right. He makes it 1-1. Kara batting for the third time today. She's reached base safely both times with a single and then a walk. Inside. And she was ready for that backdoor curveball. Chops it to the on-deck circle and falls behind 1-2. Tucker's bat started cold here in the beginning of her freshman year, but she's slowly gotten better here as the weeks have gone on. Now batting over 240. And that one low, and she'll watch it bounce in 2-2. Tucker's reached base safely in 3 straight at-bats, trying to make it number 4 here. The 2-2. Inside, and she'll rip it foul. Still 2-2. Trojans ahead 2-1. First time they've led all day. After Kozad takes second, and then the ball goes off of her helmet and rolls all the way to the fence, and Kozad scored. 2-2 Tucker, ground ball up the middle, snagged on the hop by Ridge, and she'll toss it to first to retire the side. But not before Taylor takes their first lead of the day. We've played 5. Here from Goodekoons Field, it's Taylor 2, Indiana Wesleyan 1. This is Taylor Softball here on the Trojans Sports Network. Top of the 6th, 2, 3, and 4 coming up for Indiana Wesleyan. Madel first pitch swinging to Castor in right. Moriarty calls her off. She'll make the catch just in front of the warning track for out number 1. First time Madel has been retired here in game number 2 at 2 singles her first 2 times up. 2-1 the Taylor lead after Kozad stole second base, and then it goes down as an error on the catcher Aubrey Eckert after her throw went trampolining off of the helmet of Aaron Kozad and rolled all the way to the center field fence. The DP Alex Springer steps in, batting for the 3rd time. She's 0 for 2. And the first one from Kanai high for a ball. Ground out to Tucker and a strikeout looking the 2 times that Springer has been up today. Exposito will re-enter. She stands on deck. The 1-0. Looping it in there with the bottom dropping out of it. Beautifully thrown by Kanai. The drop ball makes it 1-1. Moriarty still shifting a little bit. Her heels like Castor's on the warning track. 1-1, low, 2-1. As Moriarty plays just slightly, and we'll say about 10 steps to her left, our right. She perfectly covers up the F in softball, printed on the screen on the netting on the center field fence. Now Moriarty goes to the complete opposite side of where she was standing, 10 paces to her right and our left. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The count now to Springer. She fouls that one to the left. So Castor remains there on the right center field gap. A big hole in right center field for Springer if she can get there. She'll ground it up the middle, tipped by Kanai, just past the diving Kuzin as it went off the front at the end of her glove and rolls into center field. Puts Alex Springer on for the first time today, and she's the tying run, and Indiana Wesleyan will pinch run for her. 7th hit of the day for the Wildcats. We'll see who they bring off the bench to run. It'll be number 4. That'll be Michaela Lovelace. Who, unlike most of her teammates, not donning the gray sweatshirt. She is going short sleeve jersey. Freshman from Mason, Ohio. Tough out there at first. So Exposito re-enters. She's 0 for 2, or 1 for 2 today, excuse me. Doubling her last time up. Drop ball, Kanai in there for a strike. Exposito popped up in foul territory to the catcher, Abby Smith, on the first pitch she saw here in game number 2. Then doubled with the sun setting. The caster lost in the sun. Floater high, 1-1. As Lovelace stands over there at first. She's 4 for 6 on stolen bases this season, but with Smith already throwing, made a lot at second today once. We'll see if they want to challenge Smith again. Inside, Exposito will foul off the curveball to our left. She falls behind 1-2. 2-1 the Taylor lead here as Indiana Wesleyan bats in the top of the 6th. The 1-2. Off speed, Exposito to center field. Not in time for Exposito as Moriarty came out of nowhere and slides in and takes the single away from center as Exposito, 1 for 3 today. A great play there by Moriarty in center to keep the runner at first. 2 outs, top of the 6th, as the Trojan defense has been stellar here in this second contest today. Two outs and the go-ahead run over at first for Victoria Boyer, who's in search of her first hit this afternoon. Upstairs, taken for a ball. Boyer was 2 for 4 in game 1. She's 0 for 2 here in game 2. Ground out to Kuzin and struck out swinging. Her 2 times up today. Michaela Lovelace, pinch running for Springer over there at first. She's the tying run. This one sent to the left center field gap. It'll fall in for a hit. Hosteller field. She comes up firing over towards third. The one hopper gets to Wilson. And advancing over on the throw will be Victoria Boyer. So a 2-out single for Boyer makes it 2nd and 3rd with 2 outs here for Indiana Wesleyan as they try to tie the game at 2. As Koistra will be pinch hit here by Indiana Wesleyan. Pinch hitter will be number 17, Sydney Williams for Indiana Wesleyan, 5'9" sophomore from Morgantown, Indiana. We saw her in game number 1. Williams walked in that first contest, and then Koistra came back in and pinch ran for her. And time will be taken for pitching coach King Lumpkin to talk things over with Kanai and Smith in the circle. Big spot here for the freshman right-hander with a tying run at 3rd and the go-ahead run at 2nd. 2 outs in the top of the 6th. Lawrence did a good job of getting out of jams here a couple of different times today. It's actually not going to be Williams, excuse me, it'll be number 20, Sydney Lowe, I apologize. So Lowe will be batting, different Sydney. She's a 5'7" freshman from Brownsburg, Indiana. So a 2-out single from Boyer, advances the runner to 3rd. That's Loveless, excuse me. And Boyer then advances to 2nd on the throw. 2 outs. Top of the 6th, right at the knees. Kanai throws an off-speed pitch for a strike. Two on, with Indiana Wesleyan down by 1 here in the top half of the 6th inning. First pitch was the knees for a strike. Second one floats in, and Lowe almost swung out of her cleats, and she's down 0-2. As Kanai threw the changeup there. Tying run at 3rd, go-ahead run at 2nd for Indiana Wesleyan as they trail for the first time today As Taylor leads 2-1 here, they bat below the pinch hitter. She'll miss. Strikeout number 5 today for Lauren Kenai, and it couldn't have come in a bigger spot as the tying and go-ahead runners were on for Indiana Wesleyan. Kenai's strikeout keeps Taylor in front 2-1 as we head to the bottom of the 6th. This is Taylor softball here on the Trojan Sports Network. Taylor batting for the first time with the lead today. Moriarty was going to send this one to center field. Looking up is Madel, and she watches it soar over her head. First pitch to Moriarty here in the bottom of the 6th, and she takes it to the deepest part of the park and gives Taylor a 3-1 lead to lead things off here in the bottom of the 6th. Moriarty's 3rd home run of the year as the Trojans try to avoid being the season sweep from Indiana Wesleyan, and Moriarty takes the first one to dead center field and gives Taylor a 2-run cushion. So 5 hits on the day here in game 2. 3-1, the Taylor lead now as Hannah Castor will bat for the 3rd time today. Second one, high and away from Ridge, 1-1. And that home run from Moriarty has reignited her teammates in the dugout to our left. The 1-1. Inside, they get Castor to pop it up. Will it sail out of play? Just stays in territory as Eckert fighting the backstop and the netting. She just makes the catch before the ball careened into the netting, and there's one gone. One gone, here in the bottom of the 6th. An RBI single from Kozad in the 2nd, tied the game at 1. Then she stole 2nd and advanced, and now Carter's going to get her 3rd hit of the day, this one to the right center field gap. 3 for 3 as Davis Carter batting out of the number 5 spot here in game number 2. A complete flip of the script after Carter went 0 for 3 in game number 1. 3 for 3 with 3 singles, all to the right center field gap. And Taylor with another runner on here. 1 gone. They're up 3-1 here in the bottom of the 6th against the best pitcher for Indiana Wesleyan, or one of their best pitchers this season. And Jacqueline Riles will pinch hit here for TU. She'll pinch hit for the pitcher Lauren Kenai. Ridge, their leader in wins with 13. Leader in strikeouts with 96. Inside pitch to the pinch hitter Riles. Taken for a called strike. Ridge, 2nd on their team for Indiana Wesleyan. And Riles down the middle of Val's out of play to our right. Ridge actually 3rd on the team in ERA behind Munn and Weaver. 0-2 to Jacqueline Riles, who pinch hits here for Lauren Kenai. Riles playing in her 13th game of the year. She's 6 for 15 coming in with a double and a home run. That one well off the plate. Carter dives back in safe. Time called by first base coach Barry Ely. That'll allow Carter to dust herself off. But Ridge, one of the top pitchers in the Crossroads League. And Moriarty got to her with a leadoff home run here in the 6th. Inside pitch to Riles. They pop it up. Caught by Koistra at second. Looks Carter back to set first base. And there are 2 outs for Taylor. Another pinch hitter will be number 3, Andy Stewart.
Now batting number 3, Andy Stewart.
So Stewart will pinch hit for Taylor Wilson. Andy 1 for 4 on the year. 5'1" junior from Franklin, Indiana, a graduate of Whiteland Community College. First one to Stewart. And the screwball breaks away from the lefty for a ball. Carter with a 1-out single after Moriarty tattooed the first pitch over the center field fence. Stewart trying to go opposite way, bouncing over to Eipel at third. It pulled Esposito off the bag, and then she dives back and gets the glove back on the bag just before Stewart stepped on to be safe. Taylor head coach Brad Bowser not happy about that one initially, then he'll just re-enter the field. So we go to the top of the 7th. Taylor 3 outs away from avoiding the season sweep of Indiana Wesleyan as Kanai comes back in to try to wrap this one up. This is Taylor Softball here on the Trojan Sports Network. Taylor 3 outs away from salvaging a much-needed win here against the 12th-ranked team in the country. They're up 3-1, bottom third of the order due up here for Indiana Wesleyan. The third baseman, Hannah Eiler, will start and lead it off. Changeup just misses at the knees for a ball from Kanai. Eiler 1 for 2 today. She has the only run-producing hit of the afternoon for the Wildcats. A single back in the second to give them a 1-0 lead. Since then, Taylor has scored 3 unanswered. Off speed, popped up. Tucker's there at second, and there's 1 gone here in the top of the 7th inning. Pinch hitter coming in here for Indiana Wesleyan. It'll be number 13, Emily Hastings, the starting catcher from game number 1. Hastings was good and was great in game number 1, going 3 for 3 with 2 runs batted in. Backdoor curveball to the inside half. Kanai has used that backdoor curveball beautifully here. And it's in there for a called strike. Nobody on, 1 out, top of the 7th. Swing and a miss. Another beautiful curveball thrown there by Kanai, and Hastings, the pinch hitter, down 0-2. Kanai was 5 strikeouts already on the day. Looking for number 6 right here. Upstairs, Hastings won't chase, excuse me. 3-1 the Taylor lead. They took the lead on a stolen base and a throwing error from the catcher Aubrey Eckert in the bottom of the 5th. And then Moriarty's first pitch, home run in the bottom of the 6th, has given them a 2-run clearance. 1-2, just below the knees. Hastings watches it slide in there to make it 2-2. Here's a 2-2 from Kanai. Try to go backdoor curveball again. That one missed inside, didn't curve at all, and it's 3-2. 3-1 the Taylor lead. Top half of the 7th here for Indiana Wesleyan. They have a considerable winning streak coming in. Taylor trying to snap it here. The 3-2. Inside, and that will be called for strike 3 as Hastings was ready to jog down to first. 6th K of the afternoon for the freshman Kenai. And there are 2 outs here in the top of the 7th for Indiana Wesleyan. Kenai's been great today. 8 hits scattered. 2 extra base knocks, but 6 strikeouts, and some coming in some big, big moments. Rebecca Schrad, the last hope for Indiana Wesleyan here in game number 2. And she'll foul off the first one here. She's 0 for 2 on the afternoon. Home plate umpire Kaylee Young goes out to talk things over momentarily with Lauren Kenai. And, she asks Abby Smith if she's okay after taking that foul ball off the mask. No balls and 1 strike. 2 outs, nobody on. Indiana Wesleyan batting in the top of the 7th, down by 2. The pitch from Kenai. And now Iwu down to their final strike, as that one fouled out to the right. No balls, 2 strikes. Schrad looking for that first hit here in game number 2. Her team down by 2 with 2 outs, top of the 7th. The 0-2. That one will burn across the dirt. It's 1-2. The pitch from Kenai. That one off the end of the bat towards Moriarty in center. She'll lean over and make the catch. And a 1-2-3 inning will end the game here in the top of the 7th as the Trojans salvage a win here and split the doubleheader with Indiana Wesleyan and avoid the season sweep from their cross-county rivals. The Trojans win 3-1 here in game number 2. We'll come back to wrap things up and take a look ahead to the rest of our schedule this week when we come back after this commercial timeout. Founded in 1950, Central Indiana Orthopedics began its tradition of offering compassionate expert treatment for patients with bone, joint, and muscle injuries and conditions. CIO doctors and staff continue that tradition today and provide specialized care in the following areas: ankle, back, elbow, foot, hand, hip, joint replacement and revision, knee, neck, physical medicine and rehabilitation, shoulder, spine, sports medicine, and wrist. CIO has locations in Anderson, Elwood, Fishers, Marion, Muncie, and Portland. The Anderson, Muncie, and Fishers offices also have walk-in clinics for acute injuries less than 2 weeks old, which do not require a referral or appointment. The doctors and specialized staff of CIO proudly serve as the official team doctors for Taylor University, as well as several area high schools and universities. To make an appointment or find out other information about Central Indiana Orthopedics, they can be reached at 800-622-6575 or at ciocenter.com.
It's true. Many of us spend more time thinking about what's for dinner than thinking about retirement. But if you think your retirement needs deserve more attention, we agree, and we'd like to help. Your local Edward Jones financial advisors, Ryan Jones, Mark Sieglin, and Rob Sisson, can help you get started today. They are proud corporate partners of Taylor University Athletics. Edward Jones, making sense of investing.
The Taylor University campus store, with their innovative textbook butler delivery service and name brand Taylor apparel and gifts, supports the Trojans year-round. The campus store, powered by Tree of Life Books, is a proud corporate partner of TU Athletics. It's easy to find something to show off someone's TU pride with 2 campus locations, one in the Dome and one in the campus center near the food court. The store is also open 24/7 at taylorcampusstore.com.
Ivanhoe's has been serving Taylor students since 1965, when Ivan and Carol Slane purchased the restaurant. Located on Main Street, Ivanhoe's is less than a mile from the Taylor campus and is open 7 days a week. The menu features choices for lunch, dinner, as well as 100 different milkshakes and sundaes. Customers can find other dessert items as well. The staff is proud to support Taylor University and appreciates the support of Ivanhoe's through the years.
Welcome back here to Goodecoons Field as Taylor will split the doubleheader today with Indiana Wesleyan. They will lose the season series 3-4, but they do snap a 9-game winning streak by Indiana Wesleyan here today. The Trojans win 3-1. The Trojans had six hits, no errors, and they stranded 4 today here in game number 2. Indiana Wesleyan 1 run, 8 hits, 1 error, and they stranded 5. Winning pitcher today, the Trojans' Lauren Kanai, the freshman right-hander, went all 7 innings. She improves to 8-3 on the year. She allowed 8 hits, 1 run. She walked none and struck out 6 on 96 pitches here today. Mackenzie Ridge for Indiana Wesleyan suffers just her 3rd loss of the year. In her 18th start, she now falls to 13-3. She went 6 innings, allowed 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned. She walked 2 and struck out 1. Each team scored 1 run in the 2nd inning. Indiana Wesleyan struck first with another 2-out rally. A 2-out single from Kelsey Koistra. Hannah Eiler drove her in 1 batter later after Koistra on the single mowed it around and advanced all the way over to second. The Trojans responded there in the bottom half of that inning as Davis Carter singled for what would be the first of her 3 hits on the day. And then the Trojans had a 2-out rally of their own. Aaron Kozad's single through the left side scored Lindsey Cornell, who pinch ran for Carter at first to tie the game at 1. A couple times there until Taylor scored again in the bottom of the 5th. There were a couple threats there for Indiana Wesleyan, mainly in the 4th and 6th innings. When they lead off double for Kristen Exposito, she was pinch ran for at second base by Shannon Arndt. Victoria Boyer struck out a batter later, and then Kelsey Koistra lined out to Moriarty in center, and for Arndt, she took off and started to head over to third on the sound of the bat. Moriarty easily doubled her up at second base to keep the game tied at 1. Then we head to the 6th inning where Indiana Wesleyan with 2 outs had runners at second and third. And then a pinch hitter was Sydney Lowe, but Lauren Kanai got her to strike out and keep that game in Taylor's favor at 2-1. A big strikeout there for Kanai. She finished with 6 on the afternoon. And the final run of the day came only 1 pitch into the bottom of the 6th. That was Courtney Moriarty, who tattooed one to dead center field on the first pitch she saw in the 6th. It was her 3rd home run of the year, and it gave Taylor a 3-1 cushion, which they would not relinquish. The Trojans back here in action 2 days from now on Thursday when they take on Spring Arbor on a doubleheader that will start at 3 o'clock. And again, we'll have it for you here on the Trojan Sports Network. So Indiana Wesleyan wins game number 1, 10-1 in 6 innings. The Trojans win game 2 by a final of 3-1. We'll see you on Thursday for Taylor and Spring Arbor. This has been a presentation of Taylor Softball here on the Trojan Sports Network. Good night from Upland, Indiana.